Yo, what's up, David? Or Donald?
Hey.
What are you doing, dude?
Oh, not much.
Hey, did you call me?
Huh?
Did you call me the other day?
Was that you I called?
Yeah, that must have been me.
I had no clue. Is this, who is this?
This is Todd. Todd Gibson.
Okay, now I know who it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I accidentally called you the other day. That was me.
Yeah, that was you. So, man, what's up?
Oh, not much. Trying to stay out of shit.
Yeah, you're staying out of shit. Hey, so tell me, the last time I saw you was in 2007. When did you get out of the state hospital?
I got out in 2009.
So was that a full discharge or a conditional
No,
release?
just a conditional release.
So, okay.
I've done 10 years so far.
So how much time do you got?
20.
They're making you do the full 20?
Yeah. Because it was a P2P.
P2P, person to person, yeah.
Yep. But now I'm fighting another battle here. So.
Tell me about that.
Well, mistreatment goes as much as them kind of neglecting me of what I really need and what I didn't need.
So are they forcing you to do things that aren't right?
Not yet, but I am pulling my files, so to speak, as we say, and I'm gathering up evidence against them.
Cool. That sounds great.
Yeah.
So what's the type of stuff they're not giving you?
Basically a different setting to live in, like a whole new setting, because I've been in residential for 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't been treating me good enough, and I've had some really shitty case managers. But this one that I got right now is doing really good.
Okay, man. So, did you ever, when you were on 50F when I was there with you, you were there, and you were telling me something. I just wanted to talk to you and go over you with some of the legal stuff that was going on. You told me, here's what I went through. Let me tell you about this.
The Bonnie Stature?
The Bonnie Tucker info?
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember all that shit. Cause you're
I remember. No, it wasn't there, dude.
It was over on 48B, right?
No, it was on C.
Oh, 50C?
Well, it was either on, oh, shit, I'm not sure which one. One of the Max wards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when she used to talk to you all the time.
All right, you remember. You were there.
I remember hiding the drugs.
Yeah. All right, well, let me find out about this. So here's what happened. So I was on a 48B in 2005. That's where we first met. Me and you were on 48B. That was maximum security PSRB. It was Dr. Meyer. You remember Dr. Meyer?
Yeah.
And then that was...
Did he fuck you up on medication too?
Yeah. Did he fuck you up on...
No, totally. Myers almost killed me.
What did he put you on?
He put me... Oh, I'm getting all the paperwork, man. On everything he put me on. He put me on too much. They just recently got me off of it. Yeah,
I know that's a very common thing to do. Like, with you didn't even have mental illness when you went to the... Right.
No. Mine was just a drug-induced psychosis.
Right. And then they put you on a bunch of antipsychotics, and did you develop, like, a lot of muscle problems and memory problems and stuff?
Well, that and I developed a serious complex for anger.
Right.
So, you know how violent I was then?
So you
I was never violent in my life.
You were never violent, right? And now you've got violent problems. Like, are you just agitated, or do you have frustration more?
All the time. I've got. How would you say it? I've also developed PTSD over this whole shitload of problems.
Right. And I want to help you with all this. And some of those PTSD symptoms, I thought I had PTSD too. It was actually a muscle condition. Like when you're on antipsychotics, you get all the symptoms of PTSD. You get pain in your muscles, you get anger easy, you have trouble focusing and remembering things. You have issues with feeling your emotions and bodily sensations. And you have muscle, I don't know. It's actually a neurological problem that is really closely similar to PTSD.
Yeah, I also know that there's a device that does shit to you.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you know about that?
I knew about that before you even wrote about it.
You read about my stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, you went to my website already.
Yeah, I have.
Oh man. Okay.
I know about those motherfuckers that fucked with us. You know? And then did you know about the Corey Denizen raping me?
No, I didn't know about that.
He raped me twice.
And
then Nito Holloway raped me.
Well, I believe Nito. I know Nito did that shit, dude.
Nito's a sex offender.
I feel bad about that.
Both of them. It's you know, that stuff caused me some major anxiety.
Yeah, I bet it would, dude. You were in there with a bunch of mean people. Yeah,
and then you ever recall who was it? Phil?
Phil.
Demon worshiper? He was a devil worshiper too.
Philip Hankins?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, they held me down and let him beat my ass.
Dude, I bet they did.
Yeah, it was the big guy Dave, and he wouldn't let me do nothing. I could have kicked him in the balls and just went to town on the other guy, but he wouldn't let me. He wouldn't let me fight him at all. He'd let them beat me.
Well, hey, all right, let's try to focus here. Now, let me tell you what happened to me up there in my own words, and let me tell you what I witnessed, and then you tell me what you witnessed.
Okay.
Okay, so here's what happened with me, man. I was there in 2005. I met you and Clifford Beers.
Yes.
We were both in the same room or something.
Yeah.
And we fooled around. We were friends. We were buddies.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I met Bonita Tucker. I'd actually already known her for like a year, from 2004. And she forced me to do things I didn't want to do. She was always taking me into room number 1. She wouldn't let me. She wanted me to talk and tell her everything. And
about everything that was going on in the ward?
Everything in my life. She was taking special interest in me, and she wanted to know special things about me. She wanted to have a special relationship. And she ended up doing things to me, touching me. She told me.
That doesn't surprise me, dude.
Yeah, she told me.
She did stuff with David, too.
David Anderson, right.
Yep. And I don't think he knew it.
Okay. So what happens, though, is she was wanting to meet me when I got out of the hospital, too. She gave me her cell phone number and email address.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was out in the unit, she arranged things. Like, she did things she would take me into a room alone and force me to hug her. And then she would hold my hand and do things, and she would be touching me funny sometimes if she put her hands on me.
Mm-hmm.
And she would wink at me a lot. And I also witnessed her bringing in contraband in 2005 and 2006.
Okay, that contraband was a big contraband issue on 48B.
Right.
That got us all locked down. And guess what? David Anderson was who she was bringing it to.
Right.
I witnessed it. I got to see the stuff. I got to smoke the stuff.
Right. So I saw her bring in some. It looked like marijuana or tobacco. She was dropping.
It was marijuana and tobacco.
It was both. Okay. Yeah. So this was in 2005 and 2006. This is what I saw. Now, in early 2006, I was supposed to get released from the hospital, and PSRB approved it, the state hospital approved it, and I was supposed to leave back down to Lane County, and I never got out because the staff members got together. When they knew about this, they saw her on 48B. There was Jeff Burkholz, a guy named Gus, and some nurses. They all knew about it. They started to flame me, saying that I was doing things I wasn't, and they said that I had boundary problems when I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said that I was.
I remember your boundary problems, man.
Right.
I do recall a brief intermission of that. As
Okay.
mixed up as I was, I could remember stuff.
All right. So.
Everything.
Right. All right. So anyway, they made that stuff up, and then I went to 50G, and you came over to 50G too. And when I was there, the doctors were telling me things. They said, "You're nothing but a manipulator." They were saying I was a sexual predator and a stalker, and I guess they lied about everything. They told the police these things, and they started to investigate me for these things. And I tried to tell Dr. Eugene Zablonsky, the unit director, about it, and he just told Eugene Jablonsky, the old unit director.
Yeah.
He's a psychologist. He told me not to talk about it. He actually wouldn't even listen. He's supposed to report abuse. I'm trying to tell him about abuse. They were trying to act like I never said anything about it, and they were just going to, hide it all.
And that's why I'm going over my notes from the hospital. I'm getting them. I'm getting discharged.
Now, here's what I thought happened with you. You know what they did with me? Now, I witnessed so many different abuse going on. I got assaulted by another staff later named Martine Turner. You weren't there when this happened. I was on 50D with Dr. Sketch.
Oh, Dr. Sketch. I did not like him.
Her.
I mean, I always called him a him. Dr. Sketch tried to give me too much medication one time, and I refused to take it.
Yeah.
They had the Groon squad come and tackle me.
Yeah. She was like...
I got in trouble. And that point, I got in trouble. Not in trouble, but I got tackled and slammed hard as I could into the ground by Joe, the security guard.
Yeah.
And another black guy named Ron.
Uh-huh.
And they slammed my head into the ground, and somebody on the ward says, "You slammed his head too hard." And that was one of my friends, and I couldn't move.
Yeah,
I was having respiration problems and stuff. And by the time I got over to the ward, the doctor there was worried and told those guys to get the hell out of there because they did too much.
Right, were you bleeding?
They had to pay. No, I wasn't bleeding. I just couldn't breathe.
Oh.
They had me on tubes and stuff.
Oh, wow.
They had me hooked up, and I bet you that's not even in the notes because they had the paramedics come.
Wow.
So I'm looking for that paramedical note, and I think that we've already sent some information off from here about that. But it's a major abuse, man. I went through a lot of it.
Yeah, here's what happened with me, man. I was on 50D with Dr. Sketch, and there was a staff member, a black staff named Martine Turner, and he would.
I remember Martine.
Yeah. Now, I was there on the unit. I was feeling depressed. I wasn't actually depressed. I was I went to work that day. I was working at 93 bench work, and I was thinking about Bonnie and how my release was screwed up. And I was dealing with retaliation from Dr. Sketch. Like, she had said all these bad things about me to keep me there. And I went to her and I told her that I was feeling like I didn't know what I was going to do. And I thought that they were lying about everything and they were abusing me. So she puts me on a one-to-one, like a staff to follow me around, says it's for extra support. She said it's not going to affect my privileges. But then I was there, and I'm not supposed to have none of my privileges taken away. So I was going to order a pizza, and they let me do it. And then when the pizza got there, Martine Turner didn't let me have it. And what happened was Martine says, "No, you can't have it." So then I sit there, and I start asking, "Well, are you going to give me my money back or what?" And then out of nowhere, he gets all pissed off at me, and he acts like he's going to attack me, and he runs and jumps on me. He starts smashing my head in the ground, punching me in the face, using his elbow just to smack my face into the ground. my glasses are get all bent and fly off, and then my nose is bleeding bad, and my mouth.
You didn't have to see the paramedics or anybody that time, did you?
Well, I didn't get to see the paramedics. When I stood up, he was going to try to put me in restraints, and they do. And I spit up a bunch of blood, and there's a nurse. Do you remember Marcy, security guard now? Well,
Marcy?
Yeah, Marcy cleaned my blood up, and it was a big puddle of blood. And I go get put in restraints, and they clean the blood off my face. Everyone knew what happened. And then the next day, and I hear some staff, Matt and Matthew, they were out in the hallway saying Martine's done it before. And they said, damn, there's going to be another investigation. And they were all shit. I just think they said he took things too personally, like he was just always jumping the ball and attacking patients.
I wish he would have done that to me because I would have caught his clock.
Yeah. Well,
you knew me for being a good, handy person on my feet and quick with my fists.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Martine had done this months before, and he'd done it many other times. I witnessed it 2 other times. I saw him, a patient friend. There's so many patients who witnessed this, too. My friend Nicholas Ortiz, Nico, do you remember him?
Nico, yeah.
Yeah, Nico. Nico saw it, and he told me, damn, just a couple of months ago, there was another patient, and Martine was in a fist fight with him, just punching him into the walls and stuff, punching him in the office. And yeah, he did it. And then there was another patient, Robbie Mitchell. He took Robbie, and I witnessed this myself, just a little bit after he attacked me. He went up and unprovokingly grabbed him and started spinning him around and then tackled him, smashed his back into a bookcase, like the corner. The spike was right there in his back. And Robbie was on the ground crying. He's like, oh, you hurt me, man. I didn't do anything. And it was all true. I witnessed it. And then the nurse, the RN, comes in. And this was the brainwashing they do, dude. The RN tells him this. He says, you better not do it again, to the patient, not to the staff. And this RN witnessed the whole thing, too. And
There's people like me that would withstand that brainwashing shit because I wouldn't listen. I was so dead in a stamper. I was listening to voices the whole time.
Well, shit, dude. How come did the medication cause you to hear voices?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Yep, it was the medications, and they took me off, and it quit.
Yep, I hear that. I mean, these medications aren't even...
My medication was Zyprexa.
Zyprexa, yep. I mean, that's crazy because what they did... Anyway, man, here's what happened. I reported the abuse the next day to OIT and the state police, and the state police come out, and they actually interview my friend first, a guy named Dustin Walker, about some sexual abuse. Staff members claim that I sexually harassed him, and they're trying to investigate and cover up the Bonita stuff.
I remember Dustin. Dustin was a loudmouth little stuff that would lie about everything.
Yeah, yeah. So
I remember him.
Yeah. So they came out to investigate me doing all this, and they were trying to frame me by getting any evidence they could. That was the state police. And what they did, though, they come out. A day before they come out, I forgot to say, I had a nurse practitioner look in my nose. Because it took a couple of days for the state police to get there. The nurse practitioner says I have blunt trauma in my nose. And it's from injury. Then the state police come out and say, oh, we got to have a doctor examine you. And they're trying, so they have Dr. Brooks look at me. And she says there's no trauma in my nose. And there's no sign I had it at all. It's a sinus infection. She gives me a pill and says I was never hurt or injured. And she covered it up.
You should have challenged it.
Yeah, there's nothing I could do. When you're up there, they're all working together, man. The Office of Investigation and Training, the state police, the hospital staff, they cover every incident up.
Well,
so,
I'd like to go through and get a number on them, too.
Yeah, so anyway, man, here's what happens next. So I go and I call my advocate, Glenn LaFollette, at Disability. It's Oregon Advocacy Center back then, but it's disability rights.
Oregon Advocacy?
Yeah, and he talks to the superintendent. He's all, you know what? Todd is nothing but the boy who cried wolf, and we're not going to do anything to help him. And my advocate tells me this. He says, Well, here's what Dr. Fickle said. Marvin Fickle, the superintendent, says, you're just a boy who cried wolf. Oh, really? They said that everything that Bonita Tucker did was a lie or something. And there was a report from OIT, though, months earlier, I forgot to say. OIT investigated eventually, so did the state police. And they were trying to frame me back in, like, August of 2006.
Yeah.
And OIT, though, does confirm that I had her phone number and Bonita Tucker's store was questionable. And they said all these things about how she had a history of boundary problems. Other staff said she did these things, too. And I told OIT all about the drug smuggling before any of this ever... Huh?
I mean, you could even have me as proof that they smuggled drugs, because I was one of the ones they were doing it for.
Right. Okay, so...
Well, not doing it for, but I was with one of the ones that was.
Yeah, was that David?
Yeah, David Anderson.
Do you remember John Eastman?
Yeah.
Did you know that...
He's a cop.
John Eastman's a cop?
Yeah, he works for the cops.
Well, he's a snitch, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I said. He works for the cops.
Well, let me tell you, I don't think you knew this, but John Eastman was charged. See, Bonita Tucker was actually bringing drugs in and giving them to him, too. Marijuana and other drugs, and he was giving it to all the patients around the hospital. He was the circulator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they gave him charge.
He was a sneaky one.
Yes.
Him and Clifford Beers.
That's true. Clifford Beers was the other guy working with Bonita Tucker. Do you remember any of that?
Yeah, I remember that shit. He was slick with his hands.
So, well, somehow, do you know? I remember that Clifford Beers had the cell phone number of Bonita Tucker. Do you remember how he got it? Do you know anything about that?
He got it from David.
Probably got it from David.
I think.
Yeah, so they had this whole big ring of patients and staff smuggling stuff back and forth. So, anyway,
taking
man.
Money and then confiscating it.
Yeah, and
that's how it went. I know rings like that work. They get an outside source. They bring it in through one of the main sources. They disperse it through the first source, which is was basically the dish out squad. They generally have 4 or 5 of them.
Well, so tell me something. Do you remember the first day you saw the drugs that you saw Bonnie Tucker bring in?
Yeah, she handed it to what's his name right through the thing. I watched. She'd sit there and talk to him and just hand it to him. She'd lay on her butt, open her legs wide, like she's getting fucked, and she'd pass him through the door, and David was right there by the door, and that's when they had us locked down.
Oh, like late at night?
Yep. I was in the ward with him, so I know exactly what happened.
Yeah. And you actually got to see the weed or the drugs in the morning or whatever, or whenever. No,
I got to see it right after she handed it to him.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'm one of the ones that they had me stash it up in this top spot in a little black box. Now, I do remember that.
Okay, good. And how many times do you think that Bonita Tucker smuggled drugs in?
You did that twice for him.
Did it at least twice?
Well, we got caught that time with weed, and there was another time we got caught with weed.
Okay.
Okay? And then there was the tobacco. He got a whole Ziploc bag full and handed it to me and says, "Hide this." So I turned it open and swallowed all of it.
Oh, wow. So
I stomached that shit too, man.
So
and then Ted, I guess it's Ned or Ted.
Yeah.
Kind of funny guy, talks really funny. He's gay and kind of queer.
Is he the transsexual? He's a transgender now?
I guess he is.
Is he bald? And he's kind of... Yeah, I know that guy.
Okay, that guy told on me for swallowing baggies.
Yeah. So...
He was totally blitzed on everything else, too. So they don't have a credible source in that hospital because we're all fucking mentally ill, supposedly.
No. So tell me this. How many of the staff members were around, they either caught you or you told. Did you tell the staff any of this?
There was a few of them.
Well, what staff members actually knew about this? Like the names of the staff that you told, or that they were involved?
What's his name? Brian? Or, you know, another big guy that hung out with Gideon? Talked with him all the time?
Oh, damn, I don't know. I know Gideon, though.
You remember the names. There was one, there was a girl there. Bonnie was right with him, shaking her head at me.
Let me see. I
don't remember the names, man. If I could remember the names, I would.
Yeah, I mean, I remember a couple of the staff. There was a Hispanic guy. Oh, there's Jeff Burkholz. There was Jeff
Burkholz. No, Jeff Burkholz was cool with me. He didn't do much to me. He didn't even get in a fight with me because he knew I'd throw blows. His son got in a fight with me, and I bit him.
That was Jeff Hudson. Do you remember Jeff Hudson?
Jeff Hudson. That was Jeff Hudson. That was his son.
Oh, they were. Yeah, I don't think they're related, but.
Yeah, but he said that was his son. And the friend that Jeff Hudson hung out with, not too much shorter than Gideon, maybe a little bit, but about as big, not quite. Do you remember that guy? That's the guy that asked me. Where'd they hide it?
Well, you remember that. Maybe someday we'll get some pictures of the staff, and you can go over and point out. We'll get the names of them. That'll probably help you remember.
Yeah, you do that. You do your research. Hey, are you still a computer hacker?
Yeah, a little bit, but you know.
A little bit? Well, believe me, I got out of the hospital, and I've become one of the fastest programmers there is.
Really?
Yeah, I program cell phones, tablets, computers.
Okay, that's cool. So you're just really good at like configuring the software.
Yeah, and I know how to implant. I know how to make dummy devices that'll implant those viruses and stuff.
All right, well that's cool. Well,
I got a ton of hacking programs.
Oh, there was a staff member named Kelsey. That's a big fat. He was actually
Kelsey, the Indian kid.
What is he?
He was Hawaiian.
Hawaiian, that's right.
Okay.
Oh, with Jose. Jose's the Hispanic guy.
Jose? I remember Jose.
Was he involved?
He didn't do much to me.
Okay.
He knew I was a fighter. And he was a little bit on the slow side, so he didn't overjudge that one.
Oh, I've seen him do some things. So anyway, man, I'm going to tell
you. You know that guy that was a cop?
What's guy's
in there? I think it was Matt.
Matt?
Oh, or Matt. Matt, the other big guy that was Matt, and then there was the cop that was named Matt.
Yeah.
And then there was this scrawny short guy that was a little fat pudgy guy.
Oh, the scrawny guy. Was that Luke?
Yeah. Not Luke.
Not Luke? Oh.
I remember Luke. But it's the little guy.
Yeah.
Small man syndrome, like to tackle people first person into the battle.
Yeah.
The goon squad, when, what's his name, Gus was there.
Yeah. I remember Gus.
Okay, it was a little guy that ran with Gus sometimes. Scrawny guy. You know what? I need him in the balls and punched him in the head as he tackled me from behind.
Yeah, he was attacking me.
I nailed him in the head, and he hit the wall and stopped. I thought it killed him.
Well, anyway, I mean, you got a reason. Sometimes you do got a reason to be upset. I mean, they attack you and they force you around a lot, don't they?
Oh, no shit, man. They do stuff. Remember when I got in a heated tackling battle with Gideon?
Well, I didn't see that.
Or were you there for that?
I probably wasn't there. You were on 50F.
Yeah, they promoted me to the bigger wards on the Maxes.
Well, all right. Well, let me ask you about this. Let's go to the time that Bonita Tucker helped with the escapes. Do you know anything about how, like, what did you hear about before you...
Yes, I remember the stuff here in outside sources. I've got a friend here named Robole Garbaba.
Yeah.
Ethiopian kid.
Was he
Afro? Okay,
What?
he's got the lowdown on everything that happens in the hospital. He was friends with the main guy, and he was friends with everybody else. And he's close to my hometown, from my hometown.
What did he? So he was friends with the staff, or who was that?
Yes, he knew everything that was going on.
Okay.
He had the lowdown because he heard what staff said too.
Well, here's what my concern is.
He's got a site also.
Okay, tell me that website. Or you should tell me that on Facebook. You should tell me the URL of his website.
Yeah, he's not over the phone.
Okay, so here's what I remember though. Bonita Tucker helped with the escapes. That was like May, or was it March of 2007, right?
Yeah. There was another lady that helped with the escape when Gino Puglisi got escaped.
Yeah, was that Alvarez or?
No, it was a lady.
Yeah, her name was. Yeah, there was hold on, I've got that newspaper article on my website, but there was Miss Flynn, and there was Alvarez, the ex-staff member I thought was named Alvarez, and she was driving the car, the getaway car. So here's what happened though.
David did the same thing.
What was that? Yeah.
He escaped by cutting the wires.
2009.
No, he escaped right out the front door.
Yeah.
He got the cards.
Dude. No, that wasn't David Anderson. That was there was another guy that escaped named I don't even remember his name. Michael Sands? Was that Michael Sands?
Oh, that Michael Sands. Michael Sands was a dangerous one, man.
Yeah. Okay, hold on a second. I'm trying to find the newspaper
Then he got the van?
Yeah, I don't even know what he did altogether.
Okay, Danny Stebbins escaped.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them.
He went to Mexico and came back.
Hey, just a minute. Let's hold on a minute.
All right. I'm
downloading the names from my website.
You got a big old inverse of a control box on your stuff, huh?
What I've got here is it's a PDF. It's on the. If you go to story.html, there's a link there, Bonita Tucker scandal section, and I've got the newspaper article about the security slips at the state hospital still a problem, and it talks about how Gino used the payphones to run up gambling and how he had.
I was there. I witnessed that.
So did I. I was there too. I saw that going on.
Remember him and Crawford?
Chris Crawford, yep.
Chris Crawford. Those guys finally got caught on their scandals, but they were using people's credit cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
They were stealing from the staff to do that.
Well, they would steal from anybody. I mean, they would even try to get my credit cards at times, and they would scam old people, their patients. They would be like, "Hey, I could sign you up for a bank account."
I purposely gave them my stuff because my stuff was all fucked up.
Yeah.
They couldn't fix it at all.
Okay.
So.
All right. Now, anyway, I think her name was Alvarez. Now, Flynn, here's what happened. The Flynn was a nurse who actually got $1,000, several $1,000. All right, Miss Flynn might have been the patient. Shit, Miss Flynn might have been a patient. It was Rains. Hold on a second. I haven't read this in a while. So, it was Miss Rains. Rains was the name of an RN. I'm still trying to find her full name. Anyway, here's what happened. Miss Flynn...
Kathy.
What?
Is it Kathy?
Shit, let me find it. I mean,
I think it's Kathy.
Oh, it's Mary Flynn.
Mary Flynn?
Yep.
Okay.
And she became acquainted with Puglisi during her stay at the... She was a patient there. And there was also Alvarez. She drove the getaway car. That was a staff member who was... She no longer worked there. She was friends with Gino. Anyway, it's Cassandra Alvarez. That was the one who drove the car. And and then there was the nurse, Rain. That was the RN who actually allegedly gave the contraband to Gino. Okay. So anyway, bolt cutters Did you know that both David and Gino tried to escape in 2007? The bolt cutters were smuggled to Gino, and this is really weird. Miss Flynn mailed them in, and she put a code name on there, Spider-Man. It didn't even have Gino's name on there. And what was going on was that somehow there must have been staff all around the hospital working for Gino and Bonita Tucker.
Gino was a big shot. Now, I knew a guy that was friends with Gino. Gino, remember, what's his name? Used to hang out with him. He's from Lakeview.
Don't know him. I just don't know.
He's
Gino,
a really tough guy. Big guy.
We'll talk about that one later. I don't even know. So what happens though is Miss Flynn, the patient, mails in the contraband, and it gets to the hospital. It doesn't even have Gino's name on it, but somehow they knew to take it to Gino. They knew the name Spider-Man was Gino's alias at the hospital. So many staff members, they smuggled this to Gino's ward, where they gave it to, they say that a nurse got the package. This doesn't even make sense whatsoever. They say that somehow it was given to a nurse who also knew that Spider-Man was Gino's name, and everybody knew that this package was for Gino. And that's what's very fucking weird. And the nurse just gives it to Gino, and Gino says Gino says that she gave this woman, the nurse, several $1,000s to do this. And this nurse says she didn't get anything. She's lying, of course, because she doesn't want to say that she was involved. And I guess this was part of the cover-up. There were so many staff involved that nobody, all the staff just mysteriously didn't get charges. No one got investigated. So Bonita Tucker, though, was at the getaway house. And here's how it went. Gino got the bolt cutters. David Anderson and the two of them were together. They go down to the 50-building gym. They cut through the fence. It was both Gino and David down at the 50-building gym, and they both get out. But David gets left behind. Apparently he wasn't fast enough or he says he got cold feet, but he probably just got left behind because they were so trying to run for it, and, they didn't.
Gino got out of there, didn't he?
Gino got out. He got in the car, driven by Alvarez. They went to an apartment and smoked some pot, and then they went to a getaway house where Bonita Tucker was at. Bonita Tucker says, here's the quote from the police report, "Where is David?" She's wondering where David Anderson's at. Their plan was to run off to Texas together. They were boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah,
and
I remember the so-called scandal of them running off.
Right. Okay, so anyway.
He told me a lot of this stuff.
Right. So do you remember them planning to do this? Did they tell you about the plans to do this before it happened?
Yeah, they're planning to do this over at the 50 building.
He was just
not the 50 building, but the other ward.
Over on 48B?
Yeah.
They were going to try to do it from there?
Huh?
They were going to try to escape from 48B?
No, they were just planning for it.
Oh, that's when they started the plans.
I think they started the plans then.
Yeah. Did you know that she was in a relationship with me before David? And she was doing things to me. I actually witnessed her on the telephone. It wasn't just me, though. This is why it was so weird.
Yeah, she did it with Clifford and a bunch of other ones.
Yeah, Clifford Beers, David.
She never did it to me. She didn't like me.
She even had a guy living with her at her house she was doing this with. And
really?
Yeah, at her house, she had a daughter live with her. It wasn't actually her biological daughter. She was a 17-year-old girl. Back then, Bonita Tucker was 24, 25. And she had a live-in daughter that was like a relative, and she took care of her. That's why she wanted to do this with me. She thought, I have all sorts of experience with taking care of people like me. And so, now her daughter, though, had a boyfriend there at the house, and I would be on the phone with Bonita Tucker, and I would hear the boyfriend is not even supposed to be messing with Bonnie on the phone, grabbing her tits and flirting with her, and Bonita Tucker was getting excited, and she was doing things. She was enjoying it and just letting guys do this to her. She was fucking weirdo. She was always going to strip clubs, and she told me she wanted to take me to a strip club when I got out, and she was promising to do all this weird stuff with me. She was grooming me for something that I didn't want to be involved in, like a sexual relationship or some type of other garbage.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, so Bonnie was at the getaway house. David, their plan was to run off to Texas and get married. That was the plan. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
Did they talk about Texas when
She
you
so said the same thing to Clifford Beers, too.
Yeah.
She psyched him out with wanting to run out somewhere, and she was going to do something to collect the ransom money.
Well, all right. Well, anyway, I was at the hospital, man, and they were retaliating against me over this, and they set me up. They were denying that anything happened. The hospital staff.
Okay, hold on a second, dude.
All right, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to get my meds really quick.
All right.
Come on. But go on.
Hello?
You can go on, Todd.
Oh, okay, man. How many times did you witness her bring in the tobacco?
3 or 4 times.
Okay. That's contraband. That's a C felony she didn't get charged for each time. All right.
And leave me anonymous. Can you leave me anonymous?
Who?
Me. Or,
Who are you talking to?
I don't know. The person I'm talking to?
Oh, the staff member?
No, you.
Oh.
Leave me anonymous, like no names mentioned. If you can. If you have to use my name, you can.
All right, well, let's talk about that in a later day. I'd like to just,
Okay,
I want to have your statements. Your statements are powerful. So we should.
It might really screw up stuff for me, man.
No, I don't think it will. That's retaliation. I think you're going to find yourself protected by somebody. Someone's not going to let you get taken advantage of. I was going to get into that. I thought that I saw that they moved you to 50F, and they were hiding you from everything that was going on, the investigation.
They got me out. They got me out of there. I didn't know about the investigation. I was part of that investigation, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, just tell me when you're ready to talk again. I was going to
They tried to cover up some stuff, and my staff got some word of it over here, and I'm not sure how much they're going to keep quiet.
All right. Well,
my life was on the line during that time.
Yeah, I saw that the staff did not want anybody to know that you knew about this. That's why they moved you over to 50F, and they were protecting you.
They moved me to cottages right after 50F. They moved me out to 48C. I moved on with a couple other ones.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going outside. Because I don't know what kind of ears we got around this house. So, you know, in my precious room. It smells like incense in here. I'll lock my door. Okay.
All right. Well, so anyway, did you know I'm supposed to be the boy that cried wolf, right?
Yeah.
That's what the superintendent said. Then all this stuff happens. Bonita Tucker, it's all confirmed. They knew it was all real. They did not help me. They did not tell me about this. This was just the start of my abuse. They tried to frame me to look psychotic. And I had a doctor, Dr. Supko. He was the first doctor that tried to stop this. He read one of their reports. They said I was psychotic. They were trying to put me on Clozaril, saying that I have delusions about the staff. And I was not mentally ill at all. And they had already hurt me with meds already. I was just like you. Remember Martine Turner? After he assaulted me, and the state police covered this up, and everyone covered it up, OIT didn't investigate. The superintendent said I lied, even though there was evidence everywhere. What happened was they put me on Seroquel, and I had neuroleptic malingric syndrome. And Seroquel is like an antipsychotic. It's designed to cause psychosis. It fucks up your concentration. It cuts off access to your memory. And it's a nerve inhibitor. It blocks the connections between neurons. And they put this on me, and I laid there in a coma for months. And they forced me to take it. They said, if you don't take this, we're going to take away all your privileges, and you're not going to get out. And I took it, and I tried to fight it, and they wouldn't help me. And I was on it. The whole time my muscles were clamping up. I had dystonia. I had hair loss. I lost my memory. I couldn't talk. I was laying there twitching in my bed, and they wouldn't do anything to help me. And till Dr. Suko met me in May 2007. He said, well, you don't have nothing but ADHD and depression. You don't have psychosis, and the hospital lied. And they said that report's on my website. And he did all that, and they couldn't give me meds anymore. They weren't trying to put me on more meds. They said they were going to cover up my muscle problems. They said, you don't have that either. And they were just lying to me. They were watching me twitch, and they were saying that I didn't have that problem.
And I was twitching bad. Really bad.
Yeah,
I was dropping to the ground and coming up, standing up.
Yeah.
That's how much shit they had on me, man.
Yeah.
And I would fight it. I would fight it tooth and nail.
Yep.
You know?
Well, I became a target of spying, though. You know, the U.S. Department, I'm just going to speak it out. When I got that doctor to tell them that I wasn't psychotic, Dr. Fritz on 41A, I made it over there right after Bonnie quit. She resigned from the hospital. She didn't get arrested. Did you know she didn't get arrested and they knew she did all these things?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, just tell me something. Before she helped with the escape, did you tell them that Bonita Tucker smuggled in drugs and stuff? Like, did you already have an incident with it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. I believe you. I believe that you told them that, and they didn't do shit, and that they actually decided that they probably covered it all. They didn't even report it.
What they did was just moved me off the ward.
Yeah. So they knew about it.
They went from 48B to 48C.
They moved.
That.
And then is that when you went over to 50F?
No. You know what? They kept me for a very long time. I got raped in there a couple times. That went unnoticed, and they got me off as fast as they heard about that.
Okay.
Police investigated. The hospital looked at it, so there should be notes on that stuff.
Okay.
If there's not, they're tampering with evidence.
Yes, and trust me, I mean, I saw another girl there get raped. She was on 48B. I'm just telling you, they actually came in and investigated it. None of the staff got in trouble for it. They were abusing her the whole time. They had her as the only girl on 48B. Do you remember that woman? I don't know. I don't even remember her name now. But she was on 48B in 2008, and it was all because of Jeff Burkholz. Jeff Burkholz was the guy saying, I hate borderline girls. And he texted me.
Oh, okay. Was it Rebecca?
No, that's not Rebecca. But
the transgender?
No, it wasn't transgender. It was a girl. She had that short arm. She had one short arm.
Oh, her?
Yeah.
She was violent. I remember when they took her over.
Yeah, I remember that too. She was getting in fights with staff all the time. I think she was just like everybody else, like staff members getting up on her, and then she just fought back, and, you know, they didn't like that.
But the patient said that she was pretty big of an asshole, too.
Probably. But she got raped over on 48B by another patient. She actually snuck in the room. She was supposed to have two staff watching her, and the staff let the patient sneak in there and have sex with her, and the staff actually had her there to be abusive towards her. I was watching it the whole time. So they shouldn't even had her on an all-male unit like that. She was the only female patient there, and they were doing it.
Hey, dude, she could haul her weight. I'll tell you that much.
No, she didn't haul her weight around here. She was she was actually all right the entire time I saw her. She didn't have fights. She screamed a lot because of the staff were apparently holding her there, abusing her. They were ignoring her and all that. She would get upset in her room, but I never saw her have any problems. In fact, she kind of felt intimidated there about all the stuff going on, and that's how I think they tried to make her feel. But the staff members who were responsible for all that, they let her get raped, and she said it was rape at first. And they didn't do shit, and none of the staff got in trouble. They just covered it up like they always do. I'm just saying, I don't know what they said happened, but I'm just saying that's probably another example how they would just, nobody would get in trouble for that type of shit there.
Running amok kind of a thing?
Well, it's like they just wouldn't let anyone, nobody gets in trouble. Staff, they'd let a patient get hurt and no one would get in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, in 2008, 2007, I got sent back to 48B, and I witnessed Bonita Tucker driving by the hospital. David Anderson beat me up. He was on the phone. David and Clifford Beers were talking to Bonnie on the phone all the time. She was calling the hospital. And Bonita Tucker, she was getting special treatment from the state protection. She was driving by, waving at David through the windows, dropping off packages that had contraband in them. And the staff didn't do anything about it. They let David have property that no one else was allowed to have. They were babying both of them. And, yeah, and then Bonita Tucker heard my name on the phone, and then she had David, like I answered it once. And I said, just one moment, I'll go get David, because I answered it, you know. And then I go get David. David picks up the phone, and Bonnie asks him, who was that? And then Bonnie says, David says, oh, it's Todd, why? And then suddenly he flies off the hook like she'd said something to him. He starts assaulting me, pushing me around the room. It's out there in the hallway, all recorded. And just a lot of incidents start happening.
Jeff tried to slash his neck with a piece of glass in one of the bathrooms on 50G.
Yeah, I know you hate him because of what happened, huh?
Yeah, well, Clifford Beers got him to hit me. He's like, you don't say that about people. And I beat Clifford Beers' biggest friend's ass, big time. That was Pat Noble.
Yeah, anyway, so staff members were watching me get abused and let it happen. It was staff-sponsored abuse. And then another staff, they're putting me into the side room for no reason. They would let David assault me, then put me in the side room. When I wasn't doing anything, I was just standing there getting assaulted, and the staff were not helping me. They were going after me instead of David. And then I even got assaulted by Jeff Burkholz. I saw him laughing at David abusing me, and I went down there and I said, what's so funny, Jeff? And this was on the last day I was on 48B, I think. And then Jeff he's in the kitchen, he slams it down, he's all recorded. There's microphones everywhere and cameras. And do you remember that 48B had microphones everywhere in the hallway?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, microphones, and there was cameras at every end of the hall.
And I know where the station was, too.
Yeah.
For all that.
Okay, so it was fully recorded. The staff are doing all this crap, and somehow nobody gets in trouble for it. Years on years and years of recordings going on, and nobody gets in trouble for this shit. And anyway...
They destroyed the old building, though.
And the building was destroyed, but I heard that the evidence, the video, it should have been saved. And I heard the staff say once that everything was being saved in case other crimes were committed. So anyway, Jeff Burkholz, he actually, when I asked him about why he was laughing, he comes out and he starts shoving me in the hallway and says, come on, you want to go? Let's fight. And then I just went back in my room, and all these staff members witnessed it. And then I get beat up by Adam Collier. Do you remember Adam Collier?
Adam?
Adam Collier was a patient, friends with David Anderson. He was over on 50C.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Adam Collier wails on me. He comes over and he punched me like 20 times all over my chest and my arm. And I was on the phone with Glenn LaFollette. This was the day I left. And then he said that I grabbed his ass, and I didn't do shit. I was on the phone with Glenn LaFollette. And I go down, and I kind of thought it was all rigged. Like I saw the staff standing around like they knew it was going to happen, and they had arranged for a patient to come attack me. So I said something on camera. I just said, you don't do this on purpose. I just said that. And then I went down to the end of the hallway, and I waited to go over to 50C. I got transferred off the unit right away because they'd already arranged for me to be transferred away for my protection, I guess. And in the hall, this was an incident where Jeff Burkholz. I get those two mixed up a lot because I'm just not separating names as well as I used to.
Oh, Jeff Hudson. I remember him.
And this is Jeff Burkholz, right?
Okay, Jeff Burkles was downstairs. Jeff Hudson was upstairs.
Yeah, back
or was
then.
It John?
Well, there was a John. No, I don't know. So anyway, Jeff Burkles, he goes in the tunnels and he starts harassing me. He on camera, he does something. He tags with the other guy, and there's a guy, Rex. Do you remember Rex?
Yeah.
Rex and Jose were taking me on a transport to 50C. And then Jeff Burkles comes down and says, just say the word and you'll stay, Todd. And he tags Rex, and Rex goes and leaves. It's a little gang-up thing Jeff Burkles does. And we start walking off the unit, still recorded, right? And Jeff Burkles goes, Todd, you're nothing but a borderline bitch. And I start saying it's all abuse and stuff. And he starts going on about how well, if you said that to my girlfriend, this is Jeff Burkles, I would do the same thing as David Anderson did. I'd beat the shit out of you. And I said, well, I didn't say anything. What are you talking about? And then he just goes quiet. Like, they were just trying to find things to make up. They were telling people about this. Then Jeff Burkles, he says, well, I'm going, well, this is abuse, you're calling me names and everything. And then Jeff Burkles goes, well, so what? Jose ain't going to say anything, and I'm not going to say anything. What are you going to do about it? Then I get to the end of the tunnels. I'm going to 50C in the tunnels, right? I'm alone with these two, and there's cameras down there, supposedly. But Jeff Burkles says, I'm going to make sure everyone hears about you, and you get taken care of, and you're going to be back in my control in no time. You're not going to live. And he also said some stuff about how he was going to beat me up and plead guilty except for sanity, and he's going to get sent to the hospital where I'd be stuck with him and shit. He was just making up crap. It wasn't just making up stuff. He was threatening me. I was scared out of my life. When I got to the new unit, staff ransacked my legal paperwork. They're going through everything. It's got my name on it. It says confidential legal paperwork. They know they're not allowed to look at it. And staff were talking about technology outside of the building, and they're able to make recordings of me and shit. And they were talking about stuff. They're like, oh, he's a masturbator. I don't like him already. They were listening to my phone calls. They're walking by me. They were making noises. They would be whistling and stuff. They started making sounds like if I told someone, that would sound crazy. And they would be whispering things on their breath, calling me a pea-head. The staff would be behind me on the phone talking. They were interfering with my post-conviction relief. They started saying I didn't have a right to do things like to go to have my IDT where I wanted a meeting to talk about the abuse. I told OIT about everything. It was all recorded from 48B and everything, and they covered it up. They actually came out and said there was no reason to believe that this happened, but they even mentioned there being security footage. So I know that the security footage shows something else to what they say happened. And they just started writing these false reports to hide every incident that was going on. And it leads up to 2008. I mean, I was going through the hospital. I was getting called a rapo, a faggot. Staff members.
Well, I know that there was a couple people that died in there that they didn't really do much about.
Yeah. One of them was Moses Perez. I knew that guy personally. I was there as an eyewitness the abuse he went through. I saw him 2006. He was always complaining about being over-medicated, how the medicines were hurting him, causing him chest pain with Dr. Skatch. That was his doctor back then. She just forced him to take drugs that were hurting him. And every doctor there knew he was going to die, and the drugs were hurting him and shit. And they just forced him to take it. They did not let him off of it.
That's murder.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's supposedly murder.
Right. So in 2009, he was there in 50F with Dr. Robinson. 2008, I saw him again, and he was on 48B. He went off his drugs because they were fucking him up, and then the staff sent him back to 48B. He was all fucked up. Like, his impulses, you could tell the drugs had fucked him up so much that he was never going to be, he was a vegetable at this point, and he was even worse than I ever saw him. And he could not focus, he could not walk. He was like, he was staring at things. Everything was shiny, and he was just, I saw the staff just try to force him to stay in his room. One of them, the one time he came out and was sitting in a chair, the staff pulled the chair out of under him. He fell on the ground and got hurt. And then they started forcing him to take meds again. And what I do know is that the drugs cannot repair the damage caused by the drugs. So they were just, every time he got put back on drugs, you're just going to get the cycle of damage started again. And by 2009,
people die in there.
He died. He died in 2009. I don't know.
They should do a recession on the fact that all these cans were there that people died.
Yeah. Right.
Why?
Hey, if you go to Google and if you go to the internet web browser, you go to home.comcast.net /killed patient rights. There's a website on Comcast. It's a personal Comcast webpage. Somebody made all about patient deaths at the state hospital and other rights violations. There's deaths. There was a guy who was in cardiac arrest and they put him in restraints, and he died in restraints because they weren't even allowed to put him in restraints. He was already unconscious. They put him in there and killed him. That was like 10 years ago from today. And there's patients who were being denied medication or abused with medication. There's a big archive of suspicious patient deaths there. And there's another more recent patient death. My friend Tommy Smith in 2012.
I remember Tommy.
Tommy was a good guy, and I saw him get abused right there on Leaf 2. Do you remember? There was a guy named Joe. He was tall, big guy, gray hair. There was two staff. I witnessed this whole thing. I tried to help Tommy file grievances. Tommy Smith was getting abused, right? Joe and his other staff got the idea to trick him to eat some food that was old, and they took a sandwich out of a bag that had an old date, and they put the sandwich in a new bag that had a new date, and we all witnessed it. There was about 5 other patients. Do you remember? Hey, what's the name of that? There's a black inmate who do you remember him? He used to do.
Decapitated his family?
Huh?
He cut up his family.
No. Who cut up his family? Taima?
Yeah.
No, that's a good guy. I know that guy. Taima was cool.
I know he did do that.
He might have done it, but I mean, everything. I don't even know if he did that. So, anyway, I'm talking about the guy that's in the hip hop, and he used to dance a lot. He'd go down to the yard and dance and shit.
Okay. Which kid? Benny?
Benny, that's him. Benny was one of the other witnesses. And there's a bunch of us on there. There's 5 other of us. There's Aaron Collier and a bunch of other patients. We witnessed Joe and this other staff switch the sandwich dates, the bags. They went and found a marker, and they went and got a new bag. And they were talking about it. They're like, let's just do this. Let's just write a new date on there and trick them. And then they go and give it to him. And then Tommy ate it. And we were just standing by. We didn't really, we didn't want to mess with the staff. And then I asked Tommy, though, did that sandwich taste any better? Because the staff switched the bag, and that's all they did. And he's all, really? And he went up to Joe and said, did you switch the bag? And then Joe said, no, I didn't. Everyone was there lying. And then suddenly they go and they're harassing Tommy. They're like, you shut up, Tommy. We didn't do anything to you. And then they go and they put Tommy into his room. And then they ended up putting him in the restraints because they kept escalating it. They were using force and they didn't want anyone to hear what was going on. They just put him in restraints. The next day, Tommy was asking them about what happened. They're still denying they did anything. And I asked the other staff. I've got the names written down. I don't know the other staff. He's a young guy that did this. The young guy is the one that actually did it. Joe's the other staff that did it. Well, Joe and the other guy, they're talking to Tommy, and they're denying they did it. So they grab him, and they start twisting his arm and beating on him. And then they grab his head, and they slam it down on the ground. And they bust open his eye socket. It's bleeding everywhere. And they try to claim it was an accident, but it was all on purpose. OIT helped cover this shit up. And
what was OIT?
Office of Investigation and Training. Do you remember they did an investigation of patient abuse?
Yeah.
Anyway, dude, he also witnessed me getting abused by the staff, like whistling at me and other stuff. And Tommy read about some of the stuff about this on my website. He heard my story. Adam Collier was one of the witnesses from 2008 about the staff doing this shit. He even told Tommy about this shit going on. He said,
my phone's about ready to die, dude.
Well, let's just finish this up.
Huh?
Anyway, Tommy Smith just died 2012, like a year. I think it was a suspicious death. He had a heart attack in his cell, and he had nothing more than depression. And I think that they attacked him, or they did this to him. They did something to him. Are you still there?
Hello?
You still there?
Yeah, hold on. I want to run down and get off the phone. Excuse me, Brad. Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you there?
Yeah, call me back.
No, let's not call him back. Let's just finish this up real fast.
Hello?
Yeah, you still there?
Yeah.
Let's try to finish this up. We got it all in one phone call.
Say what?
Let's just try to finish this up. Anyway.
Hello?
Yeah, what's up?
It's clicking on and off. I'm gonna die, dude.
All right, I'll call you another time. All right.
All right. I'm talking to you.
Talk to me on Facebook. Hey,
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Huh?
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye.
I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah. What's up, Dave? Donald? Did you hear me? Dave? Donald, I mean.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see me?
Did you grow a beard?
Oh, I've been growing it, man. I think I haven't shaved probably since, like, June.
What's that noise in the background?
Oh man, that might be the washer, clothes, something like that. Laundry, yeah.
It's there. I haven't lost all my hair.
Yeah. Did you lose some hair?
Yeah. On top.
What?
Of my shirt.
Yeah, when did you lose the hair?
Hospital, the day I ripped it out.
Oh, you ripped some out?
I ripped all of this out from, like, here all over. I ripped it all out. Medications made me go crazy, man.
Yeah, I know.
So what do you do all day?
Oh, what?
I mean, I was just wondering, what do you do all day?
Well, so let's pick up where we left off. In 2008, I was involved in that scandal, man, and the Bonita Tucker thing, it was just getting started. She did not get any charges. You remember reading the newspaper article from it was December 2007 from a Statesman Journal. It's on my website. I can pass you a link to it. I'll pass you a link because I'm gonna pass it to you right now. And
Hey, you got a fan blowing by your computer?
no, did you hear it?
Yeah.
Let me try. I could try to turn on some beam for me. Oh, I just sent you the link to the Statesman Journal article.
Statesman Journal?
Yeah. You read the text message right here in Skype. You gotta click I am. It's a little button that says I am. And you can read what I typed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay, so they wrote the article that exposed this. They still didn't charge Bonita or any of the staff, but she got caught later on in 2008, smuggling some morphine and amphetamine, this time at David, through the mail. And they caught that. They caught David Anderson marrying David by phone. They did that. And then what they did was they decided to charge her, but they still protected her. And they hid my case, and they hid everyone else's case. John Eastman's, they had you, they had all the evidence against her. And they went in and they gave her a bunch of pussy charges, and she only got 4 months or 6 months in jail.
Oh, I heard about all the charges that she got. She was also allowed back.
No, she didn't go back to the hospital.
Oh, she didn't?
No, they did take away her license. She couldn't go back.
Oh.
Now, she was allowed to come back and visit before David was, before they had the plea bargain. The plea bargain said they couldn't have contact anymore. And they had to agree to divorce.
Yeah?
So anyway, I became a target of spying, right? The technology. Let me tell you about this shit. The staff have it, and they spy on the patients. The staff. And I don't know how they got it, if it's the state police or the military helping them out. But, they can read your brainwaves with it, right? Just like they read a wireless device, they can read your mind. It's the same. It's, your brain has microwave, or radio waves, right? Radio signals.
So if you were to emit a signal that was so saying, I'm gonna kill you, would they be able to read that?
Yeah, they could read that. They can see what you see, what your eyes see, what your mind is processing. They can hear what you hear in your mind. If you hear something or you're thinking about a sound, they can hear it. They can read your emotions. They can read your thoughts and your memory. And if you're thinking to do something, they will know it. And the computer can put it in any form for them. It's a brain-computer interface that reads your thoughts. They can see it in many different ways. They can broadcast it back into their own mind, or a computer can show it as text. Like if you're thinking about a word, it'll show the word. They can see it.
It's visual telepathy.
Yes, it's a type of telepathy. It's a computer that it's synthetic telepathy because it's all done with it's all manufactured. You know, it's a computer that does all this. It's not real.
Did they have it when I was there?
Yes, all throughout 2007. Probably I don't know the date it first came. The first time that I suspected I was being spied on at 41A in May 2007, I heard staff knew things that they weren't supposed to know, including George Succo, the doctor. Dr. Succo knew things. He knew to evaluate me for ADHD. It was weird. I just thought that they were all using it in secret on us. And,
also, they were using it for the diagnosing and all the other shit, too.
Yeah, they did that too, yeah. And in my case, later on, I don't know if Dr. Succo really had access to it, but in 2008, the doctors, Dr. Succo said I had ADHD, right? But the doctors at the hospital were trying to say I didn't have ADHD and I didn't need treatment. And they used this technology on me to try to disprove it or prove it. And I caught the staff on 48B on camera talking about all this in 2008.
Yeah?
Yeah, they said, so this technology can do other things too. Like they can actually see through the walls. It's a type of X-ray vision, but it's not X-ray vision. It's electromagnetic imaging. You know, they've done it before. They can do it with ultrasound. They can do it with electromagnetic radiation. They can see the reflections. They can see the wires in your brain. They can see electronics. They see the signals that illuminates the building, and they can see through the building that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was being used there. I think it was U.S. Department of Justice, probably. That's why I say it was 2007, 2006. Maybe it was a program the state always had running there, and I just didn't, nobody really knows. And so it was being used to spy on me, and I caught the staff on 48B even talking about it. They stole some legal paperwork that talked about what Bonnie did in May 2008. They were reading it, and they said, look, actually, here's how it got stolen. Chris Walker and David Anderson were patients in my room. David wasn't in there, but David came down and he got a hold of it through somehow. And they were reading it. David was assaulting me over saying Bonnie would never do that to you. She would never have a relationship with you. And she did, though. She touched me. She did all that stuff. I was getting assaulted in my room. Staff moved me that day, though, to another room. And they're treating me like I did all this. And they read the note, though. David gives them the note. And Crisco. You remember Crisco? Crisco was one of the staff and Jeff Hudson reading it. And they read the note. And it says... It's the comments out in the hallway. They said, the note is too incriminating. They think the reason they hid my case is because the state lacks liability insurance, and they think the judge already made his decision. So they steal my note, and they don't provide it to the authorities, and they hide it. And the state police were probably already involved. I mean, everyone was there. The FBI, state police, they had my note anyway. They hid it, and they destroyed it so that no one would ever know what I said. Bonnie was just going through court, and this was crucial evidence that would have exposed every part of everything else going on. So, that night, though, staff were out in the hallways talking about it. They're having a secret meeting, and it's like 3 a.m. Staff come out of the office, and they tell the other staff, they go, look, they're using this technology on him. They're going to protect him with it. That's why it's being done, they say. And then they say, staff are like, oh, really? He's a liar. He's an antisocial. He doesn't have any of these problems. He's just making all this up. And they were very upset. And then they're talking about that. Well, they have technology they're using. They can see just him and hear just him. That's what they're using. And they were pointing in my room, and they're talking about it and gossiping. And this technology is did you read the document on my website called?
Yeah, I saw the pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's NSA remote neural monitoring. Did you read that document with Russell Tice? Oh, let me send you. Did you click that link to the Statesman Journal?
That one right here?
Yeah.
How do I do it?
You just click it. It opens up a web browser and you can read it.
Yeah, I did.
Alright, well, the Russell Tice article on my website, that one's the one that describes the technology and what they can do with it. And it's pretty amazing. It says that they can do all these things, and they can also use microwaves and radiation to remotely stimulate your brain and nerves. And this allows the staff were there using this to communicate covertly, like they were on the unit. They don't have any radio or nothing, but they're listening to messages. They're seeing things. The computer is passing, it's synthetic telepathy, it's passing the messages that they can see and hear with their brain, and that's the one way they can see it. And
Well, it's got to be hitting a certain part of their brain.
Well,
it's capable of doing.
Well, it's I just passed the link. It uses microwaves, radiation. They focus it at your brain. It's a microwave transmitter with several mile range. It's outside of the building, and it beams messages into your brain. The police use it. They communicate back and forth. The staff were using it, and they were spying on the patients with it. It's a passive form of spying, and the staff had access to all this information in my brain and everyone else's. They knew everything. Whoever was running this operation knew everything about this. The district attorney prosecuting Bonita Tucker, everybody knew. Everybody was in on this shit. They all had access to this garbage, and they're lying about it. Now, the computer can record your thoughts too. It can record everything it sees and hears. It's got artificial intelligence. It can beam messages, video, images, and dreams and sensations into your brain. It can control your dreams when you sleep. And it can also, it can do things to your body, heat, cold, stimulation, tingle, and move your tissue around. It can simulate massage and do stuff to your body. It's also a weapon to simulate psychosis and hurt people. And the way it works is, they just target you with it, and nobody else can see the energy coming to your body, and you're sitting there being affected by it, and they're talking to you, they're touching your genitals, moving your genitals around, they're hurting you, they're putting pressure in your head, they're saying, the first message I ever heard was, like, you spy for the Statesman Journal, do you have major spies for the CIA, and you're being set to look psychotic, and there's some other message too. The first message said, no one's ever made it this far. And it was because of the months I've been trying to expose this and get help. I'd actually talked to the Statesman Journal. I never got a call back. I told them about Bonita Tucker a little bit, and I said I had some information to pass. And this was one of the reasons they attacked me. So anyway, they flooded my body.
Hold on. What? What? Alright.
Well, dude, they flooded my body with microwaves. I began to convulse in August of 2008, and they started to stimulate psychosis, and they're using this weapon on me through the wall. They tried to kill me, basically. The staff members were talking about it out there on the unit, and the staff said I was in a coma, and they denied me medical care. I had 170 pulse, I was convulsing, and they were using this on me, and there's other things they did, you know. They would actually sit there and tell me things that were being done to me with this weapon. They knew about it, and they knew everything I said and did. I'd walk around the unit, and they'd say, why do your balls feel tight? Every time I got around a female staff, I'd feel a little tingle in my genitals. It was microwaves tingling in my genitals.
Well, yeah.
Sexually abusing me, dude. They were fucking me up. The staff didn't want to know anything that happened. They didn't want people to know that they attempted to murder me or that they used this weapon on me. They need the Bonita Tucker stuff happened. Yeah. Yeah, they used this on me. And now for 5 years, dude, I've been getting fucked up. They covered up the Bonita Tucker scandal and the staff scandal. They built a new hospital illegally because if anyone found out about this, they would not have built this new hospital in 2008. They would have never opened. Those staff would have been in prison. Nobody would have gotten out of this. That's why they did this. And I read about how they've done this to other people, man. The U.S. Department of Justice, they all use this. The police all around America spy with this technology. The CIA. Yeah, they've got it everywhere. And you go to myjustice.org. That's a website. I like that one. It's ran by a United Nations expert. She doesn't work for the United Nations, but she's listed with them as an expert. And she wrote that whole website all about non-lethal weapons and electromagnetic mind control garbage. And she wrote that website, and she's an expert. And she knows she's saying it exists, and that these weapons, people are being getting attacked all over. There's a group of people, too. There's a newspaper article, the Washington Post Mind Games article. It has an interview, Sharon Weinberger, she gets on there, she interviews a bunch of people about this. She says, is it paranoia or the Pentagon? Because the Pentagon invented a weapon to do this called voice to skull. And this is just an old version. That's the old version of the weapon before, now they've got a much better version of it that does a lot more than voice to skull. And she did that in 2007. There's a doctor, Dr. Carol Smith, basically she's an expert on this too. She says she worked with people who were victims. For the CIA, like prisoner of war, she worked with the victims who were targeted with this shit. And she wrote white papers about how we need to update the diagnosis on psychosis because it doesn't give any information about the police abuses and the mind invasive technologies that can simulate psychosis and shit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she thinks that people are getting misdiagnosed because the police can get away with abuses because the DSM doesn't have information about these weapons. And basically the doctors are really blind. They're dumb. They don't even know the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree.
The state hospital doctors do because they actually help develop these weapons. They've used them. But the doctors out in the community, you can't. Some of them know about it. Like if you go to the big hospitals, some of them know about it. They know this is real. They work with the government before. They're trying to keep it secret. They're doctors. They get paid to develop shit like this. But some of the doctors, the psychologists, people, they don't. If they believe it or they don't, I don't know. But they're not good at really helping people. My website's all about my abuse and setup. I've got so much evidence there. Almost all this stuff was caught on tape and recorded. Oh, Jeff Hudson beat the crap out of me too. Caught on tape, suffocating me, punching me in the face. They were medicating me illegally. Dr. Succo said they couldn't medicate me. They were doing it anyway. For 20 times they gave me injections that assaulted me. They beat me up while doing it. Yeah, I caught them on tape doing so many things. Staff members say, we don't care about your rights. No one's going to help you. Everyone talking about this spying going on. Yeah. That's why I'm trying to get it investigated. I want to go back and say, look, this was caught on tape. I sent an email to the governor back then, dude, and DHS Administrator Bob Nickel, an email with dates and times of all this. I put down the big log of dates and times of every incident, everything that was said almost. And I told people about it. And they promised an investigation. They didn't do it. They covered it up. But I did hear one investigation did happen, and they covered it up, though. So I said we got to go back and investigate it all because the original...
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be investigated and what doesn't need to be investigated. So...
Well, you're one of my big witnesses, man. Me and you. Cause
we'll take this on, man. I'm all for you, man.
Right. Alright, well that's good enough, man. We don't gotta do too much. I already know. I'm just glad you would talk to me. Hey, did you know Chris Walker?
Yeah.
They said he escaped in that newspaper article. And he didn't escape though. Well, he did. Remember, there was a staff member named Bruce who took him up to Portland. You know Chris Walker, right? He's a black guy. Yeah, well, Chris Walker went up there in Portland, visited his family, and a staff member said that Chris Walker slammed the door on the apartment and took off running. It didn't really happen like that. And it's in the newspaper saying that's what happened, though. It's slander. Someone wrote a false report about this. It was Bruce. Bruce told the police all these lies, and they actually found footage, and they never ran this in the newspaper. They found footage. They showed Chris Walker going into the apartment, and Bruce refusing to go in, saying, yeah, I just want to go. I'll sit in the car. So... he made up a lie. Chris did escape, though. He went up there and he just took off from the apartment. He just decided he didn't want to go back out there, And he took a walk and then didn't do anything, but... Yeah. Yeah. There's a bunch of lies. The staff the staff got caught in a lie there. That's another lie. It's just one of many lies. If you ever do anything, the staff will always lie to cover their tracks. That's what you know.
Yeah, I agree, man. Under our system right now, it's crap. And I'm starting to build as much stuff up as I can. And believe me, man, we'll take this shit on.
Yeah. Now, let me recap earlier, because earlier, you said that you witnessed Bonita Tucker smuggling marijuana 2 different times at least, right? On 48B.
Yeah, I watched her pass it.
To David Anderson.
And tobacco.
And tobacco.
Tobacco and pot at the same time she'd pass.
What was that?
It was an ounce to an ounce and a half.
Yeah.
Rolled up in joints.
Okay. Now, also you had tobacco too, 4 different times.
Yeah.
Or more.
Well, who knows? Who knows how much she passed?
Yeah.
But we had over a Ziploc bag full.
Okay, of tobacco. Okay. I witnessed that too. I saw her bringing a little bag of it, 48B in 2005, and I told OIT and the state police, they all got it. The state police, maybe they heard about it through OIT. OIT was there. The state police were there to harass me, saying I was a stalker, a sexual predator. But anyway, I witnessed it, and then John Eastman, I wish I could find some details. They charged him and gave him charges. And they lied and said Bonita didn't do any of it or something. Alright. Sounds good.
Alright, man. Hey, do you game at all?
Yes, I do. What do you do? What do you play?
Do you do any of the stuff from Steam?
That's exactly what I play, man.
Sweet. I don't care what day it is. Well, do you got anything to do tomorrow?
Hold on a minute. Let me, here's what I play. No, I don't have anything to do tomorrow, but here are the games I got. I got 40 different games on Steam.
Really?
Yeah, most of these games are not brand new, though. Like, some of them are old. I've got Half-Life 2 Deathmatch. I've got Alien vs. Predator. I got Heroes, Company of Heroes. Dirt 2. I got, I don't know.
Send me a link of your screen so I can look.
Maybe I will.
What's that?
Do you have Sonic in Sega All-Stars Racing? People like that game. I've got that. It's multiplayer. You race kart racing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's pretty cheap, too. I think it's like, I don't know. You gotta get it on sale and get it cheap. Sometimes I got it for like $5.
Oh, yeah?
I got Supreme Commander 2. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
You send me a link of what you got, too.
Okay, I've got Dota 2 and, Conan, and I've got Lord of the Rings.
Alright, I don't got any of those. I also got Warhammer.
Free to play.
Free to play?
Yeah, you don't have to buy them.
Alright, I'll talk to you. Let's hang up this call and I'll send you I'll call you back.
Tonight, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, I'll be ready.
Okay.
Alright, I gotta go down and do my chore and stuff, but, I'll be right here.
Alright, cool.
Alright, see ya.
Bye.